Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Godot community. I'm Sarah Rising. I'll be the moderator for this group this year. And if you are stopping in to our PLC neighborhood and you're looking for the elementary art teachers, you're in the right spot. For those of you that are regulars and coming back, welcome. And for those of you who are new to the community, we're glad you're joining us. Today, I am going to show you part one of a three-part series for helpful tips in the art room. And today's focus is going to be on art shows. I just want to remind you guys at the end of the presentation, I'll have a discussion post. And if you guys would respond to that discussion post so we can get some good dialogue going. Remember to subscribe to those posts so that you can see when others are responding. And hopefully we can get going with some tips and tricks to help each other throughout the state of Georgia. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start our presentation. Like I said, this webinar is going to be all about help in the art room. And today in part one, I'm going to talk to you about some art show ideas. I'm going to talk just a little bit about an in-person show you a video on how I set up a virtual show, and then we'll close things with a discussion question. In-person shows, we've all done them, and everybody has a different way of doing things. And so I thought I'd share what we're doing in our county with the elementary level. We do something we've titled it the Visions Art Show, and it highlights works of students from across the county. We have the display on for about 2 weeks, and then we feature anywhere from about 15 to 30 pieces of art. We have panels that we display the students' artwork on, and it's up to teacher discretion for selecting the art for that show. One of the cool things that we do is about midway through the show, we host a reception, and that's for the artists that have been selected for the show and their families. So with our 23 schools, we end up with quite a bit of traffic that comes through that exhibit, and we get parents coming through the doors seeing the work featured by all the schools throughout the county. One of the new things that we've done this year is we have created a virtual slideshow of the exhibit. So each school has a section of the PowerPoint, and we include the images of the art that's used in the exhibit. And right here, I'm just showing you one page of an example of what I did for my show. So I just feature those artworks on there. And this is a nice bonus just for our parents and families who maybe can't make it out to the show, but it allows them the chance to see things. And then we'll also be using it in our schools so that students throughout the school can see what their classmates have done. So that in a nutshell is what we're doing for our in-person shows. Next, I'm going to talk to you about what we're doing with our school. I'm partnering with the music teacher to do a school-wide show featuring art from all the students. So I'll go into that and share that with you. Stay tuned. Before we go on to the next part, I wanted to share with you a tip for setting up an in-person art show. While you're in your classroom laying out all the art and trying to figure out if you have enough pieces and what works, if you know the size of your panels, find an area, mine just happened to be the same size as my tabletop, and lay out all of your art as it were going to go on the panels. Then when you've got it just right, take a picture on your phone, and then when you get to the place where you're setting up your show, your pieces are ready to go. All you have to do is refer back to your photograph, and voila, your art fits perfectly, and you don't need to spend extra hours trying to fit those puzzle pieces back together. Hope that tip helped you. And now we will hop into the information about the virtual art show. What I'm going to do is show you how we set up for our combination music art show, which is in a virtual format.
Hey everyone, I'm going to go ahead and share with you how I created our school-wide virtual art show. I'm working in partners with our music teacher who is also sharing recorded videos. So what we have is she created a page that looks like this for each grade level. And you can see here is her link for the music show and then my link for the art show. So what will happen is when parents click on this link, they'll be taken to a folder. So kindergarten parents will see this and they'll get to my art show folder and they'll have teacher names and they'll be able to see their class's artwork. You may be wondering, how do they know what to do? And what we've done is we've created an instructional letter that just explains what they do. And I've just said how to view the virtual exhibit, why it's in the show, talking about split classes. Sometimes, I don't know if any of you have split classes, but if you have to split a class to go with others, how they find their work. So you've got to think about all those things and make sure that you communicate that with your parents. We are making this show available through August, and that's where they get their information to get started. I've made 3 different formats for the art show. Some of my art is in a vertical format, some of my art is in a square format, and some of it is in a horizontal format. And then what I do is I simply make a copy based on that class's artwork and what their format is. And you can see as soon as it loads, oh, it's very slow today, that this is the vertical format that we're using for this. And again, I just create a copy and go from there. Once I have photographed the student's art, I'm using, and you can see over here, I'm putting all of my photographs in the Google Photos. And then I have all the pictures here. I start by taking a picture of I use pizza boxes to store the art. So I take a picture of the teacher's name and then I photograph all the art. Then what I do is I've used the square format and I've made a page for Ms. Hubbs, and all I'm going to do is click and drag the picture in here. Let me scoot this over so we can see. Then I go to the next slide, click it, drag it, next slide, click it, drag it, next slide, click it, drag. It's really nice. I'm really lucky to have a huge monitor. It helps a lot so that I can make sure I get all of these in here. I'm not going to do all of them, but as you can see, it moves along pretty quickly. Once I have all of the artwork filled in, then what I do is I'll go back, don't delete the teacher's name on there. I've done that before and then had to figure out who that class was. And then I just go in and I insert the text box with that teacher's name. And then I have also color coordinated the backgrounds to fit each grade level so that I can easily figure out whose is whose. And then once I have the name in there, I delete that. I don't really do anything fancy for the cover. I think I like to let the artwork kind of stand on its own. And then, as you can see, if I was a better photographer and if I was more sensible, I probably would have gone in here and shot this artwork in the right format. But what I do is I take these pictures at the end of class. So once our class has finished the artwork, I have the kids sign it and then set it on their table. And then I just walk around with my phone and take pictures of the artwork. So if you were doing this not over the shoulders of students, it probably would be a lot easier. But then you have to rifle through the boxes. I just think it's a lot easier to take the pictures while the kids are there. And then you can also see who's not finished right in front of you. And that's it. I just go through, edit all these, and pop it in there. And once the slideshow is finished, then the parents can go in and they can see all the work from their students' class. They'll also be able to see works from other classes as well, so it's kind of cool to let them go through and see that. So in a nutshell, that's how we do it. I'll show you one that's already been done. We'll go back to kindergarten, and you can see that. Ooh, we're so slow today. As we wait for that to load, so you can see how the artwork just formats in that space. And that is the virtual art show. It does take time. I think looking back on it, this is the first one I've done for the whole school. And looking back, I think what I would have done is shot the art and had the art made early in the year so we wouldn't exclude some of the kids. But then you can also, if you had a kid absent, then you can use another piece of their art to pop in the show. Just trying to think off the cuff here, some other things that I might have done differently. Now that I have the basic format for horizontal, vertical, and square, I think that helps get that done pretty easily. And maybe enlist some help from some of your older kids. I don't know if you have a tech group at school, but they can also help you shoot that artwork. But I think it looks nice, formatted, and ready to go. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this little hot tip on how I'm doing a virtual art show in partnership with the music teacher. And all of this was put together by the music teacher who started it. So thanks, Miss Dean.
I hope you guys found those tips helpful. Again, it's just really just a snapshot of all the things that are happening in this state. I'm just happen to share a couple of ideas that we're doing. What I'd like to wrap up with today is our discussion question, and that question is going to be, what are your tips for a successful school-wide art show? Post your response in the discussion section. We love when we can share ideas. As you guys know, we don't always get together with even at the county level, let alone across the state level. So do share your ideas so we can get some dialogue going and pick up some tips about how the rest of you are doing art shows and having success with those. All right, guys, I'll see you back here soon. Thanks for stopping in.